Connersville Board of Public Works is now in session. Please rise. The Pledge of Allegiance by Tim Bentley.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can everybody please silence their phones? We'll have our invocation by Reverend Ronnie Russell.
Let us pray. Gracious God in heaven, we thank you today for life. We thank you for our community, and we thank you for the men and women that are serving for us today. And we just pray today that your blessings would be upon the mayor and upon the board today. Lord, give them wisdom, give them knowledge to make decisions that would not just be pleasing to you, but would be beneficial to our community as a whole. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you.
Okay, roll call.
Jim Barrett.
Here.
Tim Bentley.
Here.
Jerry Irvin.
Here.
Annette Reedman.
Here,
Okay, we have a quorum. You have the minutes of the last meeting of November 20th. Is there any additions or corrections?
so moved.
Second. We have a motion to second. Pass as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, going down to new business. Carol, would you like to speak to this? Where's Carol at?
Carol. Mayor's.
On this 10th Street,
I
one
don't
way?
believe- I do not believe that the business owner is here.
Yeah, they are.
You're, okay. Do you want to speak about it, or? Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if they can pull this up on the.
Okay.
You could go ahead and explain. I'm gonna have him
Okay.
pull it up so we can. look at
My
it.
name's Lowell Eggleston, and me and my wife Sherry Eggleston own Sherry's Little Sunshine Daycare. And actually, we have two daycares. One's on 11th Street and one's on 10th Street. And we are trying to propose to make the alley between the two daycares a one-way. The reason we're doing it is because we want to try to get it done for the safety of the children. Years ago, when we lived there, it was a one-way going from 10th Street to 11th Street, but that's been a long, long time ago. They did away with that. Also, we have children that get off on Burton Street, and PM, they get off at 3 o'clock, and they walk from Burton, if you can see here on the screen, walk from Burton down 10th Street to the daycare, which, let's see.
It's not cooperating today.
Okay. But anyhow, if we could make that a one-way from 10th Street to 11th Street, that would be a great safety for the children that's walking off the school bus. Plus, we have children getting picked up in the evening too, right there. And we have a lot of people that seem to want to come the other way. And I'm just scared that somebody's going to run into somebody head-on in that alley. I put orange cones up to try to slow the traffic down a little bit. Even put the little yellow signs out, children at play. A couple of those actually got ran over. Yeah, that's it right there. Can I walk up to the screen?
Sure.
Right here, correct?
Yes, right here. Yeah.
This is your daycare,
Yes,
and, am I correct?
yes, we have two of them, yes.
So right here and right here.
Right, right. And what we're proposing is to have a one-way from here to here. And the children get let off right here in the afternoon. They also get picked up in the morning right here. Plus we have children getting picked up here. And we also have a playground here, which children get picked up there in the evening. And the traffic flow sometimes seems to come down here at a high rate of speed, and there's a huge bush right here, and I've got this neighbor let me trim it back as much as I could possibly trim back so that they could kind of see to go around there. Right there is where I've been putting out the yellow cones, or the orange cones and the yellow signs. This one's got run over, and this one's got hit. And I'm just afraid to a child's gonna be getting put into a car seat or something like that, and when they come out of the daycare, usually they come out of the daycare and they go around this side of the car, and mom puts them in here or at the playground, and somebody coming around here. This way is the problem, is they're coming down here. Yeah, we want to try to propose to get it one way from south to north,
And your average daily attendance is
around 30.
31.
30 kids, yeah, 30 children. And this is the thing that Carol noticed that we just realized is the children getting off the bus here at 3 o'clock. My wife Sherry has to be out here for the bus driver to let them off. They come down this way. Well, if it was a one-way, that way, we wouldn't have these cars coming down here and possibly hitting a child trying to go to the daycare. That's one thing that we just now realized. Plus the other thing of the children, the parents usually are stopped right here. There's usually like 3 cars in the evening. And what we're afraid is they come down this way and they're gonna hit head on, and a child's gonna be walking between the cars, or a mother's gonna be putting one in the vehicle.
Okay, now, this board doesn't have a right to make the one way, it'd have to go before the council.
Right.
But I can have Carol go ahead and study this and let her come up with something we'll present to the council. And you'll have to appear before the council. I don't know how soon you want it done, but that's something the council's going to have to do for the change that. So, Carol, why don't you go ahead and do that?
What information? I have been up there and observed the pickup
Okay, we'll just get one ready then, and we'll present to the council the next meeting.
tonight or next meeting.
Was probably not on the agenda for tonight, is it?
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, so
Okay.
it'll have to be for the next
Okay,
meeting.
we'll have it ready for next meeting.
Okay.
They may want to know how many neighbors live along that alley and use the alley, how many people would be affected by that, who live
This
there.
is all you, right?
Yeah, this is all us,
You own all
yeah.
of this, so that helps,
Yeah,
just
this,
so you know.
How many,
But
are there
these-
any houses who
How-
use that alley to like get to their parking or?
Do
no,
these have rear access? Any of them?
no, these all here, this house, and this house, all their drives are in the front. Right
Okay.
there, right there,
How
right
do they
there.
access these?
Access these right here, from this side right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Is there a house here or is that,
No, that's vacant there,
Okay.
it's a vacant lot there.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to let the people know what we're doing here, so
Yeah.
they have a chance to speak on it. Okay.
A lot of, a lot of it is the neighbors have brought up for me to come down here and propose it, because they're seeing the safety of the children too there, so.
Okay. So we'll go,
A question, you really haven't received any opposition from your neighbors?
No,
For making
no,
this request?
no.
Okay.
They just noticed that, the people coming down the alley aren't, I've actually had to get out in the alley, try to get them to slow down a little bit coming from the north. But no, the neighbors all agree that it'd be a good idea,
Okay.
you know.
okay. So go ahead and prepare it and get with Beth and get something prepared for next council meeting.
Very good.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Diana?
I put at your seats today a contract with SME. We're trying to work out some fine details. I think the last correspondence Beth had with them was right before lunch, and they've agreed to all the changes. The email that's on top has the changes that they've agreed to. What I'm asking today is if you would just go ahead and approve the contract per Beth's approval, so the mayor can sign it, so we don't have to wait 2 more weeks to.
Okay, Beth, speak to this.
Well, the original contract as presented to us limited their liability if they were negligent or caused some kind of waste to be exposed to the public to either the amount of the contract, which is $282,000 or $50,000. We had that taken out and increased their liability for that to $500,000. There was also in 4 different parts of the contract language where if they did something negligently, like release hazardous chemicals or something like that, or failed to find them, that we would indemnify them,
Okay.
meaning pay the damages they caused. So all of that language has been taken out of the contract. And then the final thing that we took out is they had a provision that we would mediate, which is fine, and then that we would go to court after that, and that the prevailing party would have all of their attorney fees and litigation expenses paid. And I had that changed so that each party would be responsible for their own litigation costs and attorney fees. And I did speak to their lawyer on the phone right before lunch. He agreed to those changes, so my clerical is typing up a new contract right now. So if you will approve this contract you have in front of you with those changes, then the mayor could sign it if you approve that.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the contract as per Beth. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Holly.
I brought a bunch of people.
That's good. It looks good to have some people in here for a change.
Well, and I don't,
Smiling faces even.
yeah, I'm Holly Dunn, and I live on 17th Street. I don't know, and have been utilizing the Haven. We finished up the FOP's lease, and over the past year have been really redeveloping a community center. And so we're here today to see about the renewal of our lease, and hopefully kind of a long one to move forward to continue to grow what we're doing. And so I'm not going to do this alone. I don't know how much you want to know, but I'd like to share just some of the programs that are happening there now, and I have people from those programs to share. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're here, all y'all, come with me. Did you like my all y'all? And that even includes Carol.
Y'all.
All y'all. And I have a brochure for you guys that tells a little bit about what we have going on.
We're being bullied again.
I know.
You have to decide what you want to try.
I feel like we should dance.
And what we prefer. Before you get started, let me just say to you, you have the old lease in front of you, and just by way of explanation, you'll see your original 5-year lease was with the FOP. And then the FOP sublet the lease to Holly's group, the Haven. And so now that lease has expired, and there was actually some contradictory language in the sublease. The lease actually expired in September, but the sublease had the wrong date in it, and any normal person reading that sublease would think it expires at the end of December. So she's actually on a holdover technically, but she wouldn't know that just from reading her sublease. And so assuming that you will approve this, the FOP representatives have indicated they no longer wish to have the building or lease the building. So you would be leasing it directly to the Haven. And you will have to decide how long you want the lease to be. This original lease was a 5-year term, and then you'll have to decide how much you want to charge. It was $100 per year. It was a total of $500 under the old lease, so you need to decide how much consideration you want for each year and whether you would allow her to sublease it to anybody. And then I'll be happy to draw up the lease after you decide those things.
And the other big piece of that contract is that we would be responsible. I mean, whoever is in charge of that building is responsible for all the maintenance and upkeep. And they also, the city doesn't even carry insurance on it. It's like we have to have a certain level of policy and everything to cover our insurance, both on the inside of the building and on the outside of the building.
That's what your current lease provides.
That was what the current lease provided. I mean, so essentially, just giving my little blurb at the beginning, is a year ago when we took charge of that facility, just because the folks who have had it before us, it's I'm looking at Ryan. Like, hi Ryan. Financially, there's not been a lot of money to put into that building, and so when we took charge, we decided we weren't going to walk in fear that you were going to take it away, and that it needed maintenance. It was literally raining inside. I mean, when it would rain, it would come straight in, and it's in disrepair. I mean, it's better if you've been in it, it's a lot better now than it was a year ago.
The inside has been dramatically improved. If you visited the Haven since they moved in,
It's
they've
totally
really
different.
redecorated a lot. It's pretty nice.
Everything's been painted. A lot of the like garbage disposals have been replaced, and sinks that were leaking have been fixed. We've got another fixed sink now. Tim rented it like a couple weeks ago, and I called him the night before because it was stopped up, but it's been fixed. I mean, we've taken care of the maintenance. Fundraised a new roof. It has a brand new roof on it, and it was missing more than half of the shingles, according to the roofer. Like, I mean, it was bad. Had to replace boards. It just had not had any maintenance in a really long time. I'm saying that, and I don't want you to be offended, because you were before me, but it just, I mean, they didn't have the finances. And with it being more of a community center now, I'm able to talk to community members and ask for donations and contributions, and we've been able to like put some in it, and we actually have a couple big things in the works. But before we go there, I'll let you hear from some people that use the building weekly. And Kathy, you just tell them who you are and what you do.
Yes, I'm Kathy Legier, and I am with Unchained Praises. Actually, Charmin and I work. She has given us a little office there in the basement part, where we see people addiction, mental health issues. And Charmin does one-on-one counseling with them, and we try to get people in treatment centers, detox centers, and such. And so it's been a great asset for Unchained Praises.
And they're free. So everything
Yes,
that they
everything
provide
we do is free.
is free. So like anyone from the community can show up there and receive support from them.
Okay.
They're there most Mondays and Fridays and some Tuesdays, basically. Charmin, you're on Drug Coalition too. You can talk about that.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm Charmin Gabbard, and I work as a recovery coach out of the Haven. We've been there for a year. I don't have the numbers, but I know we've been able to send people to treatment with other agencies, working with other agencies, at least 20 people with no charge to the person. So we work with Dribble Over Drugs, Brianna's Hope, and we just offer free services. I'm there just as a connect for support throughout the community, to connect them with other services through the community.
That's good.
I'm Jessica Flum. I'm the practice manager at Meridian Health Services here in Connersville. My link with the Haven, there's several. First, I'm on the Fayette County Drug Coalition Board, which meets monthly in the Haven. I'm also on the Fayette County Community Voices Board, which meets monthly in the Haven. And with Meridian, Holly has been gracious enough to allow me to utilize her facility numerous times for staff team building events where space is required to do some fun activities. And we've also co-hosted lunch and learns for law enforcement and other community agencies.
Carol McQueen. I use the building on Thursday. Actually, I just assist. I don't use it, but for an after-school program, it's a great location, perfect size, lots of space, and it works out great for the after-school program. Also participate sometimes in fuel, and I will tell you, I've seen fuel at other locations, but this is a great location for fuel, which is the Friday night church service, because the kids are hungry. And I think it's reaching the right group of kids in the location where it is now, at the Frazee Center.
I'm Sarah Rathburn. I coordinate a program called Communities That Care, Fayette County. We provide strategic planning and programming for prevention of substance abuse. We've been doing that for 2 years at the Haven's new facility. We are grant funded and money is very tight. These are state dollars through Department of Mental Health and Addictions. The Haven has provided us office space, meeting space, storage space. We have records that need to be locked and stored for our audits, etc. And they provide that for us at no cost.
Internet. Like they pay
we do provide the internet service, which is public use while we're there. We do programs there, drop-off programs where kids come to visit after school, and we work on building relationships and mentoring and having a positive piece of the day. We also meet those kids at school, so they know that they're not forgotten. Big group programs, etc. Training programs. We've received Narcan administration training, first aid, CPR through that. Plenty of meetings that have been discussed already, but what I look for as someone who needs to address the community is a non-stigmatized location, which the Haven does provide. No one has to walk into a church. No one has to walk into a courthouse for a meeting space or any place that they might be standoffish, especially if we're talking about a parenting program or something that they might not want to attend or have the stigma for that. So the Haven really provides that very neutral location for us.
Okay, there's one more person that didn't stand, and she is going to hate me, but and Cindy, this is Cindy. She's the treasurer for the Haven. She's been on the board since our inception, which is coming up on 8 years ago. And so I'm going to let you say about fuel. Come on.
Talk about the finances.
Finances and fuel.
Well, of course, I think it's a wonderful program. I'm there almost every Friday night with dealing with the young people in our community. We feed them. We have so much community support. We have churches that provide food on Friday night. We have individuals that provide food. A lot of our remodeling expenses were donations from the community for paint and just various items. We do have an air conditioning fund going.
Because the air conditioning units had been previously stolen along with the compressors. And so it did not have, it wasn't on our watch. I'm just not, again, sorry, Red. But nonetheless, they weren't covered under insurance. And so we've had to fundraise it in order to get there. And I'm cutting it off. I didn't mean to. The estimate is approximately $10,000 to replace those 2 air conditioning units and those heat pumps. And we have...
We're halfway there. We have a little $5,025 from donations.
To go towards that with the intent that if we would have had the money to do that this summer, we would have done it, even knowing this lease was coming up. Just because we believe that it's the city's community building and that somebody has to take care of it, and we can't let it fall down. And it was at that point, like, it structurally, if we hadn't taken care of the roof and gotten the support from Temple, they actually, as a capital campaign, raised the money for us to do that. But the contractor did it at cost. So for $3,000, we were able to replace the roof with an insured roof that has like a so many year warranty. I don't have it.
Okay, so other than the language here, is there any language that you don't like?
No, I'm fine with the language. I would, the longer, like, taking on a 5-year would be a perfect goal for us to move forward with submitting some other grants to take care of the outside structure. Because the outside piece of the building, there's a really large window that is rotted underneath it, to be really honest, and it has been recommended that we remove that whole front and to repair it. Otherwise, within the next couple years, we'll be looking at the front falling off. And so we want to move forward with applying for a grant.
So, except for the names, are you agreeable with all the terms?
Yeah.
Other than the names?
Yeah.
We could have a 5-year lease that would commence January 1 of 18. And then do you want to keep the rent the same, which is a total of $500 payable at $100 a year? Or did you want to talk about that? Jerry looks like he wants to talk about something.
And we paid $500 last year. We didn't know that, actually.
We thought it was $500.
Are you fine with $500?
Yeah, so we've already, we're ahead for 4 years if it's like.
New agreement, Holly.
Nobody stopped us when we gave them extra.
I just want to make sure you were okay with it.
Oh, yeah. Like paying money?
Yeah, I mean with the $500.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, it's the thing that people don't realize, like, just saying we're a fairly small nonprofit that houses a lot of stuff going on. We've got Financial Pieces happening on Monday nights. Gabe and Megan Nobby do that. There's other things that, we did the drug take-back day at the Haven. We still try to rent it to the community on the weekends, just because it's a place where people have every year for as long as they can remember done Thanksgiving there, or every year for as many years as they can think they've done Christmas there. And so the building is still rented. If you're using the building for anything educational or community-based, we don't charge anybody. I mean, like, we don't do that. The only thing we charge for is if you're having an event that's like a birthday. They charged because they were doing a call-out service, but nonetheless, we try to be free, like, to anything that's going to better our community. But our electric is $700 a month, and so that's the big hit. If we can have it rented some, if the rent being super low made it the same, basically as what we were paying elsewhere, when you make up the fact that we have to pay more for electric. Does that all make sense?
Well, and getting back to the amount of your rent, I can see once again why you were confused, but on the first page of the lease agreement with the FOP, which you assumed, it says rent is paid at $500 per annum, which would mean per year, but then it says payable in 5 $100 installments, with the first installment due on the first day of this lease, and then each year thereafter. So it really is $100 a year. This lease has some awkward language, kind of contradictory language in it. So you paid $500 when?
Last January.
Okay. So you paid for a year, and then it sounds like they paid for the next 4 years, even though their lease, they're under a holdover right now with their lease.
I just wanted to make sure you was happy with it.
Yeah, I think it's just a good, it's a little bit of something, but yet you're able, as a city, it's something that we're able to give back, and it's not just benefiting the Haven. I want you to know that, like, it's.
So, well, I'll just go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and just renew it as is, except for the language changes that you were talking about, as far as dressing that up a little bit.
Well, and the fact that that building is older and it does need maintenance, I've been in it for a lot of different events, the fact that they're willing to insure it and maintain the building, most lessees don't do things like replace a roof. That's usually the landlord's responsibility. So it now has a new roof on it. It's going to have, it sounds like, new heating and AC. So that's a big benefit to the city, because then they get the building back better than it was at the end of the lease.
So let's just go ahead and make it the same as $100 per year.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes,
Are we
sir.
going to, the 500 or whatever you paid last year, 400, we're just going to include that as in the new lease? And so,
Well, what
in
do you
this
think?
5-year,
I believe it ought to just include new lease.
yeah, and so in other words, after the 5, they'd only additional $100 for the whole 5 years? Is
We'll
that correct?
acknowledge that they prepaid $400.
Beth, wasn't there
Well, they
some,
only have to come up with $100 over the next 5 years, right, Jim?
That's right, that's the way I feel.
there was some language on the holdover though, wasn't there?
There was language on the holdover that said the holdover rent, and they would be holding over from the end of September. So, well, no, from the beginning, so that would be 4 months. It was supposed to be $60 a month on the holdover, which would be $240. But like I said, if you read the sublease indicates that the lease expires December 31, so that language was wrong. The lease really expired September 1. So I can understand why they're just now coming before the board and didn't realize that their lease has expired and they're on a holdover. So, I mean, you could hold them to that. I don't think really that would be the appropriate thing to do because of the way the wording is in that lease. It's just not right.
So in other words, all they owe for the next 5 years is just $100, right?
If that's what you want to
If
do.
that's what we agreed to, yeah.
If that's what you agree to, just pay $100 over the next 5 years, good to go.
Mayor, I'd like to thank them for what you do for the community, and I'd like to make that a formal motion that we renew the lease, and they'll owe $100 within the 5 years.
Motion in a second?
Second.
Okay.
I think I seconded it.
All in favor?
All in favor, say by saying aye.
How can anybody
All
say
opposed?
no?
All right, it's done.
Now, Holly, you're a 501c3, is that right? And who is authorized to sign it for Lisa? You want to sign it, or are you president, or what?
I am the president.
Okay, then I'll draft it for your signature, okay?
I appreciate
All
that.
right.
Okay, we appreciate all of your time, and actually,
Thank you
I
for
just
coming.
want to say thank you to you also for everything you've done, and Ryan for thinking of us when they knew. And I have said that the FOP could still meet there. Like, they've got another place, but you know, they can still meet.
Okay, go on down to items, go ahead, Rosemary, explain D, E, and F.
Resolution 2017-61 is a transfer within MBH, $300 from repair of street signs to water and sewer. Resolution 2017-62 is a transfer within the police budget, $20 going from lab supplies to uniforms. Resolution 2017-62 is another transfer within the police department. You got $610 going from subscription and dues to travel expense.
Okay, is there any discussion on those?
I make a motion to take all three of them at one time.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Go on down to item 4. Mike?
Now, coloring again.
Yeah. Yes, visual aids.
Thank you.
I got one extra. Don't have a whole lot to talk about, but we hired Bastion Logan to test flow all of our wells down at the ball field. No, actually behind the park, there's 4 wells, and they did flow testing. And well number 5, that's our worst well when it comes to iron content, so we had to replace. They ran a video camera through the pipe and everything and noticed that those pipes are really corroded. And I just brought some photos of what we're doing and what they did, but the first kind of what the pipes look like, the first photograph. It's about 100 feet deep. The end of the pipe is a 25-foot screen, and that's what the those 3 photos is of the screen. Then on top of that is 3 more steel pipes. So they accomplished that just last week. New pump, and we're hoping that we can rebuild that pump and use it as a backup for the other wells if it's in good enough shape. But we talk about these things, and this costs us $15,000, and sometimes it's nice to see a picture of what we're doing and what this stuff looks like that we're putting into the ground. But it was pretty interesting. So that screen is 100 foot down in the ground. That's what filters the water, ships it to the plant. So I just thought it was interesting for you guys to take a look at. Other than that, next meeting I'll be coming in for a new MS4 contract. It's a year-to-year contract, and it'll be up, and I'll have that with me in the next meeting. The claims, only there's a $470,000 claim, but that's for our water bond payments, and that's majority of our claims dollar-wise. We also had a $19,000 maintenance contract for our software in the office, was the big 2 expenditures on our claims. Everything else pretty much typical. Is any questions?
That pipe looks gross.
It wasn't very nice. The other one's all pretty good, but
Okay.
we knew that one. And we test those every 7 to 10 years.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, go on to item B, Police Department matters.
I'm back. We have an open lieutenant's position with the retirement of Lieutenant Dennis Perkins, and today I would like to request Ryan Sherwood be promoted to lieutenant. Ryan's been on the department for 7 years, almost 7 years. He was a platoon leader in Iraq. He's proven himself as a leader. I think he'll be an excellent addition to our command staff. I look forward to working with him.
Make a motion with that.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to make Ryan Sherwood promoted to lieutenant. Is there any more discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Come on up, Ryan. And
I almost missed your vote. He's here with his parents, Kim and Juanita.
Good. You got anything?
You want your mom to pin your badge on? We can do it after the meeting if you want to.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Hey.
Congratulations. Much deserved.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thanks, Ryan.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I always like it when they shove it in on you and make that pin go into your skin. Okay. Is there any old business? If not, we'll go down to miscellaneous business. Is there any miscellaneous business? I just want to let everybody know too that you got to, if you want to come to the Christmas party on December 20th, that Melissa needs your RSVP by the 8th. I'd like to invite all of you to come. And so I also want to know that we had the Winter Fest went very well this weekend. So last weekend, so that was a good thing going on. So appreciated the Historic Society and the Main Street for putting that on. And so anything else anybody want to talk about miscellaneous business? If not, we'll go on down to claims. Tim, this is your baby.
Alrighty, let's start with the big one first. Mike already kind of addressed why, but utilities, we had a total of $701,851.07. And for the city, our total was $76,303.10. We need a motion to approve.
So moved. We have a motion second to pass the claims as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Going down to item 8, public forum. Does anybody got anything to say? The Sherwoods, you want to come up and say anything about your son that we might need to know? Okay, is anything? Anybody?
I'll add this. We're doing the Christmas Crusade, Officer Counselor Christmas Crusade on December 20th, and there is a GoFundMe page. If you search the GoFundMe site for Officer Counselor's Christmas Crusade, anybody who wants to donate can go on there and donate to that. I think we helped, I believe it was 75 kids last year, or roughly somewhere there, 60 to 75, somewhere. Anyway, it was a large number of families that were assisted last year with Christmas, so we would like to continue that. If anybody's interested in donating, they can do that. They can call the FOP. We've got Facebook pages to reach out to us.
Okay.
But definitely want the community involved there.
Thank you, Clint. Okay. If nothing else comes before the board, need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Adjourn.